My name is Vincent Meessen. I'm based in Brussels, Belgium. I didn't study art actually. I was in a university for journalism. I was only trained much later in a residency program. So I didn't study nor cinema nor art, but I was always interested very, very soon into that. The way I work is that at some moment I stumble or I meet some sign, some text, some image that I find interesting because it surprised me or it's something that I don't understand first, that I cannot really reconcile with. So I think that the moment that you're motivated enough to spend hundreds of hours to make something happen from that small object, from that image, from that text, it necessitates so much energy that it's not possible if you're not moved by it in some way, you know? Is it something that you want to separate or that you think you're separate from? Or is it something that you create some kind of continuity when you think that the past is still in the present? It's still here in some way. And so, of course, the big part is lost, but there are still, traces of it. There are still specters that are around. And that's what I tried to do in my last film that I will present in the Biennial.
Alors, pour l'énergie, on a l'énergie yin et l'énergie yang. Ils sont en mouvement. Ils circulent. Le yin et le yang doivent circuler. La circulation. Le yin peut se transformer en yang, comme le yang peut se transformer en yin. C'est ce qu'on appelle la mutation.
Just a Movement is a film that is very specific, I think, in terms of writing. It's not even writing, it's in terms of composition, let's say, because it's a film that incorporates another film, La Chinoise by Jean-Luc Godard, how starting with one image, with one photograph of a young militant from Dakar, you can re-enter a whole world that is also very much connected with a very important film from the cinema history shot by Jean-Luc Godard in 1967 and was a sort of announcement of May 68. So with one photograph that I kind of met during my research on the Situationist International and their relationship with young African students, I found this image and I was struck by it because I had been working in Congo in 2015 for the Venice Biennial, and I had been researching the relationship between young Congolese students and people like Guy Debord and Raoul Van Eghem from the Situationist International, and how they, came together and fought the idea of revolution in Congo and the importance that Africa could play in a sort of redefinition of the power relationship during the Cold War and what the role could be of these young people into bringing another set of realities, another imaginary and another way of dealing with the pressure from the Western world. When I found this image, I thought that maybe there was an even more interesting story to dig in Senegal, and that proved right. So it's very interesting to see that if you take La Chinoise, which is this film where Omar Blondin Diop is playing his own role and where he's the only political militant in the film, playing under his own name. So in some way, I see it as a sort of documentary character which has been recaptured by a fiction and kind of, tricked by Godard. So what I try to do is from this character, which is really like unimportant in this film, I make the first role, and I try to also, in some way, really show the blind spot of Godard's work, which is very equivocal, problematic relationship with African, in some way, like actors when he used them in his film. So it's a very Eurocentric way of behaving. In some way, my film is a way to deal with this critically by using the tools, of course, and his methodology. And I think that his methodology of filmmaking, I learn a lot by trying to apply that, And so it's really a matter of relationality, a matter of dialogue. And I think that listening to the brothers and the friends of Omar and bringing back documentary, bringing back a relationship with the reality of a mourning that has not been possible, of a death that still remains a very problematic issue, not only for the family, but let's say for a generation of militant, for people who are still living and who have no truth whatsoever so far about the disappearance and the death of Omar, is something that becomes very interesting if you are able to listen to the members of the family and to the friends, and if you offer a space for that, and if you trust the power of memory also.
Et toi, Chantal, tu en penses, toi?
Bah, écoute, la même chose. Je pense que la volonté politique, si elle existait, on aurait eu le fameux d'histoire depuis longtemps.
Mais, quelle que soit la longueur de la nuit, le soleil finit toujours par se lever. Et si ce n'est pas nous, ce sera nos enfants, nos petits-enfants, mais tôt ou tard, la lumière sera faite, avec ou sans l'intervention de l'autorité de l'État.
So I think that I was alluding to that in the beginning, so how you oppose memory to history, how you embrace and how you trust the memory of different people, and how you build something that becomes a sort of collective memory of someone who has disappeared more than 40 years ago and is still there. So he's still like acting in some way. He's still representing something. There's an energy that is still floating or flowing, in the air over there. So I think that's what the film does also, is really a sort of transmission of a story that has not been told. I really think that the cinematic of the film is a sort of a spiral, where in the spiral, you kind of come back to the same place, but the level is never the same. And you can do like that, but you can do like that.
Enfin, le cinéma peut servir à ça, à voir la création des formes, l'embryologie. L'embryologie, c'est quelque chose d'extrêmement mystérieux, et comment, une fois qu'il y a une forme qui est prise, ça se change, qu'on peut appeler ça une révolution, un demi-tour, ou comme l'a exprimé Mao Tse-tung, ça fait des spirales, c'est-à-dire, et ça, c'est comme ça que les choses changent.